how's it going? So, some of you know me. This is Rama, one of the owners of Our Stop Shop. Yeah. So yeah. Um, that was weird. So anywho, this is Rama, one of the owners of Our Stop Shop, and I just wanted to take a minute to really put an emphasis on encouraging our own to do what we need to do to empower ourselves collectively in a productive and progressive way that allows for us to see the changes that are deeply desired and necessary. So I'm in a headspace today where I really want to speak life into our community instead of pinpointing any shortcomings, criticizing or ridiculing us for where we still have work to do, because we're fully aware of that. We are completely comprehending what we need and what we're not meeting. So there's no point in beating that dead horse. What we aren't doing, however, is honoring the process and all of the ways in which we really could be doing more and upholding, making continuous progression. This year was truly a year to help catapult a cultural shift as well as a progressive revolution into high gear between the uprisings and the financial support and the recognition on a national and international level of so many different facets that make up the Black story, narrative, and truth. It's imperative that we don't undermine that value or the significance it held. And it's also imperative that we put ourselves in lockstep with reflecting actions, aligning ourselves with understanding, knowledge, and skill sets that avail not just initial impulse responses, but sustainable momentum to this shift. And so I said all that to say this is our time. If somebody knows something or is talking about something that you're falling short of, this is the time to say I'm going to make it my mission to learn, to build on that, to tap into that, whether it's by starting to implement it personally or by allowing for them to reflect that product, skill, or service as a facet of the way your life is now captured. So I just find myself, a little concerned and worried about our collective sustainable progression when the Black community is ready to protest and they're frustrated. But when we're saying it's capital, okay, well, if you don't have an inheritance, there are alternative ways to tap into that capital that not just we do, but other groups do frequently. Credit is a big moving part of that. We don't allow ourselves to uphold tapping into that because of the way credit has been taken advantage of previously in life or as a stigma, as a stereotype. No, credit is leverage. That's what it is. Insurance is a significant one. And it's a number of insurances, but some you are guaranteed to use at some point in life just by existing, like life insurance. Um, Skill sets. The people that were able to pivot were people that possessed more than just what a specific job requirements were as their capabilities, So we have to level up in that regard and get really intentional about learning things outside of what we're told to do or outside of what we're um, encouraged to develop in. I love the fact that so many people feel so passionately, so easily, and connect to so many people. But that influence and that connection and those feelings, they're just going to be reoccurring experiences, um, or circular type of experiences until they are used to cultivate something bigger or better or more effective. And that's where I am. I love us to life. And for everything that I understand, every success that I've achieved, every progression that I've made, I want to see the collective win because it benefits me for me to be capable of coexisting with more people who get it, that also reflect me and have the same social and cultural awareness as myself. Like, our stop shop is catered towards the Black community because we need each other to exist in a space where we can support each other in a healthy manner. We need each other to exist in a collective progression so that we can collectively leave legacies without those legacies being made into targets. We need each other to thrive because no one person can do it all. So when you put yourself in a predicament where you're the only person achieving something, you're bound to hit roadblocks or barriers that other people may take advantage of to either keep you behind or exclude you from or make you have an even harder time achieving the goal at the end, right? So it's important for us to realize that we are all coexisting. To live is to exist in a state of constant fluidity. And until we truly embrace that truth, we're going to find ourselves struggling in a constant tug of war type of set of circumstances as it relates to humanity, as it relates to justice, as it relates to economic effectiveness, as it relates to ownership, as it relates to political progression and consideration, as it relates to health and just overall equality. So it's really imperative for us to realize that all those moving parts matter for us and for us to allow for others to coexist with us, prospering and thriving and contributing in ways that we can't, and understanding the value of that happening that way. Whether we feel or believe their aspect is being upheld to the extent we think it is intention wise from the beginning. Right now, we really don't have the luxury of freedom to put so much emphasis on ridiculing and criticizing and undermining. It puts us in a state of stagnation that leads to no resolve.